many Prabhupada disciples came down to Bhuvaneshwar, but there wasn't much to see. You know, it's just Prabhupada had laid the cornerstone for the future temple. And they had gone to Puri, and Srila Prabhupada had been negotiating with the Pandas of Jagannath Puri Temple that I want to meet with you, let's meet, let's talk, and I want all of my disciples and international disciples from all over the world to be able to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. He's not the Lord of Puri, he's the Lord of the universe. So he wanted to do that. So the appointment was made, the site was chosen. It was a slight promontory with one tree for shade, just right on the beach, right off the beach, very near Puri. And there were probably 20 devotees, men and women mixed, in audience, in entourage. And Srila Prabhupada was sitting, being fanned in chamara, and he would, you know, chanting japa for a little while, then maybe he'll speak a few words, and then we'd chant japa again. And this went on and on for about an hour and a half, and we were sitting there. It was noticeable. We were watching him visibly get angry, very angry. So the Pandas from Puri Temple had stood up Srila Prabhupada, had stood him up. No show. They did not show up. And Srila Prabhupada was quite angry. He was furious. He went nuclear. And that is when he made the famous statement that if the Pandas do not change this Maya attitude, then Lord Jagannath himself will get up and walk to and stay at our ISKCON temple. So some devotees assumed that meant the temple in Bhuvaneshwar. And now, then later years, ISKCON actually bought land near Puri, and they plan to build a temple. So we don't know which temple Lord Jagannath will walk to when it happens, if it happens. But I'm told repeatedly that the Pandas of Puri are very much afraid of this prediction by a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Very much afraid to this day. And then one of the Swamis began to report about some Maharaj who wanted to donate actually a palace or a castle in some mountains. And that sannyasi was suggesting, he made a joke, it was only a joke, oh, we could put all the women there. So then Ramananda had just returned from Africa, Kenya, and he told Srila Prabhupada a story that Srila Prabhupada in Kenya, there's one tribe that has a ritual for a boy to become a man, to be initiated into manhood, and therefore he would then be able to get married. And this boy would have to go out into the bush or the jungle with only one short spear. Their spear is very short. And he would have to, you know, individually by himself with one little spear, kill a lion. And in that way he would be then a man and qualified to marry. And so there were chuckles about that. One of the Swamis said, oh, we should make a GBC resolution that any brahmachari that wants to get married, he has to first kill a lion. And another Swami chuckled, too bad we don't have any lions around. No one will get married. And so, you know, I'm just looking around. And then immediately Srila Prabhupada dropped a bomb and completely changed the mood. He said that the pure devotee of Krishna is always crying in his heart of hearts for all the poor women and all the poor animals that are being exploited around the world. And so immediately all the Swamis, you could hear their mouths clamped shut and be quiet enough, stop talking. And that lesson taught me something. There was friction at that time between the sannyasis and brahmacharis and householders and women. But that taught me that Srila Prabhupada cared equally about everyone. And he certainly did not want our women to be mistreated. And he put the sannyasis into their place. He shut them down, boom. It was like a bomb. I'd never seen anything like it. In 1975, I was sent to Hong Kong to be the president there, and I began working with the translator, Prabhupada's first Chinese-bodied disciple, Yasomati Sutta Prabhu. And he was working on the Bhagavad-gita as it is, and in 76, he had finally finished the first 6 chapters. So somehow or other, I arranged to print this. And I sent a copy to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada was ecstatic. It was only the first 6 chapters, but it was his Bhagavad-gita as it is in his purports. So he wrote a letter to me, and he said, this is a great victory. This printing Bhagavad-gita as it is in Chinese, this will bring about the fall of communism in China. And this was in 1976. Well, today you can see it has happened. It may still be a dictatorship, but there's no communism left. Prabhupada was so ecstatic and excited about the printing of the Bhagavad-gita that several swamis immediately wanted to come and distribute that book. Sridhar Maharaj came, Trivikram Maharaj came. I had only printed 700 copies the first printing because it was expensive. But then immediately Prabhupada wrote me again. He says, reprint 5,000 copies. And of that, it happened. Trivikram Swami and Sridhar Swami came to distribute until they were kicked out of Taiwan. They took them to Taiwan to distribute. But Srila Prabhupada gave me some personal instructions about the China mission and the result of that Bhagavad-gita. He told me, first of all, now you see to it that the preaching in Chinese and the printing in Chinese goes on. And also always set a good, a high example, good example for the younger devotees. So that locked me into the China mission for a long time, 35 years. And now we have so many books, we have so many Chinese devotees in Taiwan, in mainland China, anywhere there are Chinese devotees. We're up in, we have multi-volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam in Chinese. But Yasomati Sutta's service should not be forgotten. He was authorized by Srila Prabhupada to be his translator for Chinese books. And even today, I'm told by the China BBT that we find that the vocabulary he used and the translation that he did is the finest thing we have. Srila Prabhupada himself told us that he had the mind of a British officer and the heart of a Bengali mother. That means he was deeply intelligent and analytical and perceptive. Before we even began talking about Super Soul, he could talk to Krishna. And he was also deeply compassionate. There was no limit to Srila Prabhupada's compassion. If devotees fell down or was having difficulties of any type, Srila Prabhupada was always trying to help and always willing to take back. The devotee welcomed them back. If you're penitent and you're humble and you're sorry, then they were welcome back. So I think it was a good lesson to be learned that in this day and age where, for some reason or other, this idea of banning has come about. It didn't come from Prabhupada. I'll tell you that right now. He warned two devotees. I shouldn't remember I shouldn't say their names, but one devotee he warned, and the devotee left and did his own thing, and Prabhupada said, well, he has left and done his own thing, what can I do? And then later on, he came back and Srila Prabhupada welcomed him in the family again. It happened with another devotee that you were acting crazy and committing so many offenses, and you should stop dealing with devotees like this. And as soon as the devotee was apologetic and humble, submissive, and he was welcomed back into the family. There's no such thing as a lifelong banding or whatever.
Prachur